Hi, how are you doing today? Welcome to my daily live session on various topics for creating world class companies and exceptional leaders. And today, as I had explained day before yesterday, I will be talking about the my assessment of a company based on the business chakras. So let me directly dive into it with a short recap. I started with this slide on contents, I think about 15 days or maybe 3 weeks back. And after that, went on to speak about chakras, my understanding of the various flows in a company, which are essential for the success and for the survival of the company and for the progress and prosperity of the company. And after that, went on to talk about the uh, very simple way of assessment, which is the 5S assessment, where you talk about the 5 levels, which are sorting, straightening, shining, standardizing, and sustaining. And then went on to explain a little more complex one, which is the CMMI structured assessment guide, with 5 levels of being initial, managed, defined, quantitatively managed, and optimizing. And after that, I explained the EFQM 2013 model, then as to how the assessment would be done there as far as the enablers are concerned, and how the assessment is done for results. After this, I went on to talk about the 2019 model, the new one, and try to see in what way I could link the 2013 to the 2019 model, and explain to you that 2019 model is something really nice. I like it because it is extremely practical and hands-on instead of being a very theoretical document. So that's something which was interesting, which I explained. And after that, spoke about the way the assessment is done for direction, execution, and results. And after that, I briefly mentioned that I would be speaking about the business health assessment as I have conceptualized today, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So on the right side, you see the seven chakras, which is the root chakra, continuity chakra, top-down chakra, bottom chakra, progress chakra, growth chakra, and success chakra. On the right side, top, which is shown pictorially on the left side, which I've already explained to you. Now, let me speak about the assessment, which is very simple. My assessment is something very simple. See, it's like this. The, the problem always looks extremely complex. Once you've understood what the cause and effect is, then the solution becomes very simple. So mine is very simple and easy to understand. Let me explain that. I've got totally 7 levels. I call it as starting from being a beginner to becoming a master, where one would progress from identifiable level to the predictable level. That is, the first level is identifiable, verifiable, measurable, reportable, governable, capable, and predictable. And as far as the description of the level is concerned, one could call as a beginner, aware, learner, good, fluid. Fluid is something where you are able to perform the task without any problem. It's like cruising on a on a highway. Then coach, and after that, being a master. So these are the 7 levels as far as the individual is concerned, and as far as the organization is concerned, you can call them as seven uh, adverbs, I would say, identifiable, no, or adjectives, 7 adjectives for the organization, which would give the 7 levels for the organization. So what is this all about? Let me now go into a little more depth to talk about the 7 levels. So on the left side, there is a pictorial. Let me first explain the pictorial, which is something which I conceived, and which is, I feel, quite interesting. First is at the bottom. I'll start from the bottom most, which says the different colors and what it means. There are blue, various symbols are here. You start with a plus symbol of Red Cross, which is basically what should I say, danger or whatever it is. And after that, you come to the symbol of stopping, stop signs, which are having the triangles. Then you become a square to become a make it next level. Then after that, get on to being good by a diamond. Then after that, governable as a hexagon, and then circle as a coach, or and then star as a master. So these are the 7 levels which are seen here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the in each level, I would do an assessment. First, let me talk about that. 4 levels of assessment. First level is that there is a it's missing. Actually, that particular level itself is missing. Then it is blue color. It is there, whatever that you have got. You have defined something is available, but then it is not good. So therefore, it is not okay, which is red. And you have got it's not okay, but then there is corrective. There are corrective and preventive actions already defined. Then it is yellow color. Then finally, green is everything is okay. So it's simple, right? Four colors. Blue is, I take the blue color because I feel it's like comparing it with coma. It's like somebody who's something which is a living organism but dead actually. So blue is something extremely dangerous. I would not go to blue at all. Red is not bad because red, you know that something is existing and there is something wrong in that. So we can always react to that. Blue is absolute ignorance. Blue is something which is very, very dangerous. So don't go there. So blue should be avoided, fundamentally avoided. So blue is missing. Red is not okay. Yellow is kappa okay. That means corrective and preventive actions okay. And green is everything is okay. So they're the 4 levels. Now the first level is identifiable. I have basically put it as a staircase here. You see that there are some which are placed horizontally and some which are placed vertically. Again, a very interesting thing. The identifiability of any rhythm, that means the ability to recognize, ability to see that there is something happening, ability to look at what's happening, ability to connect such a flow is something which is necessary for sustaining, because only then can we ensure that that particular flow happens. That is the sustainability portion of it. All the horizontal levels, which is identifiable, measurable, governable, and predictable, are basically the sustainability levels. Because unless that is reached, there is no point going to the next level. And again, that is something necessary for sustaining the performance, sustaining the organization, which is the basic necessity for survival. That is sustainability. Then comes the vertical level, for some vertical levels which I have placed vertically, which are the 3 levels which would be verifiable, reportable, and capable. These are the 3 levels which would make your level go up. It's for improving. Again, the one is to sustain, the other one is to improve. Why do I say this? Very simple. When you are trying to identify something, when you're trying to measure something, you're basically measuring it to ensure that it is sustaining. So there is a intrinsic desire to ensure that the same thing continues. That's the reason why you are measuring it. You're wanting to check, you are wanting to ensure, I'm wanting to ensure, therefore measuring is happening. Governing is all about trying to ensure that whatever data is available, it is being controlled in such a way that the same level is maintained. That is governing, where you're taking decisions, reviewing, which is essential for sustainability. And the next is predictability. Predictability is again outstanding for sustainability. For sustainable growth, predictability is the essence. So these are the 4 basics which are shown as levels, but then they are shown horizontally. The vertical ones, verifiable. What happens when there is a verifiable? When you want to make something verifiable, what is required? The first thing that is required is to have a standard. So when you have a standard, then you really created an improvement, didn't you? Naturally. Imagine if there were 20 people in the organization, each one were trying to check at something in his own or her own way. Instead, you created a standard. A standard means there is a reference with which you can check something. And that having a reference itself is a huge advantage because it's an improvement. That's a huge improvement. Therefore, it's something to do with improvement. Then, is it required for sustainability? Just having the standard will not work. More than having the standard, the focus on measuring the with respect to the standard is extremely important. Therefore, measurability becomes more towards sustainability, and then having a standard itself is an improvement, in my opinion. Then comes the next one, which is reportable. Now, you are measuring a lot of things, right? And is it being regularly reported? Reporting means you are telling that to somebody in the organization. You're giving a feedback. You're giving a update to somebody. That itself is a huge improvement because then you become accountable. The first improvement was you have a standard, so you know what reference you have got from what is your baseline. You know where do you stand today. That is the standard. Second is reportable, because it means you're becoming accountable. You're becoming accountable to somebody to perform in a particular fashion. Therefore, it's an improvement again. And you are making the organization become accountable. You are making the employees in the organization become accountable. Therefore, it is improvement. That is the next level. Then the third improvement level is capable. That means here you are trying to improve the governability, the way you are governing. It could be, let us say, simple thing as on time in full delivery. Let us say the target is 100%. You are not at 100%, you are at 80%. So you are able to continuously govern and ensure that it is 80%. There are a lot of systems in place. You are reviewing it. Then you go to the next step of trying to do a very simple Ishikawa diagram or a fishbone diagram or a cause and effect diagram. And when you do a cause and effect diagram, again, you use the same levels which I explained, and as you go through the same levels, I'll can talk about that at some other point of time in the coming days. When you go through the same levels, then you will be in a position to identify where the causes are and what do you need to do to improve the effect. or to change the effect. And when that happens, the parameter or the outcome that you are desiring becomes capable. So that's again an improvement. There are three improvement levels. One is to make a standard, which is verifiable level, to make sure that accountability comes in, that is a reportable level. And the third one is to make sure that there are improvements done and the causes are addressed. Therefore, the variability is reduced. Therefore, it becomes capable. So these are the three improvement levels, and four sustainability levels. Where am I? Here. Sustainability levels. And now I will basically put this slide into a little more bigger size so that you can see whatever I spoke, because I wanted to initially give focus on me speaking so that you can understand what it is. Now, these are the four levels of sustainability and five levels of improvement put in the form of a staircase with the levels starting from 1 to 7. Let us go to the right side now. What is identifiable, which is the beginner level? The flow is with the rhythm is being regularly practiced and can be clearly identified. That means you can find out something is happening there. You can see that there is a river flowing. That is number one. You can see that there is a river flowing. Whether the river was existing there or not is nothing important. But at that moment, you see that there is a flow happening. That is number one. Number two, verifiable. That means now you have a river which you have seen. So then you make a standard to that, saying that this is the way it would go in the map, so that every time when you go there, you can verify whether the same flow is happening or not. That is verifiability, which I explained earlier. The flow can be easily verified by comparing with the documented standard. The standard is available. And then comes the next one, which is measurable. The performance of the flow can be measured. That is the next level. Reportable. The performance of the respective flow is being reported regularly on time for reviewing. That means the idea is to review, not just to give a report. Governable is the performance of the flow is being monitored, controlled, steered, and governed. And finally, the next one would be capable, is the performance of the flow is consistently meeting the targets and specifications. And finally, predictable. Here in the capable level, you can also say that I want it to be a Six Sigma process. This is a different thing altogether, where I'm talking about only 34 defects per million opportunities. Could be another challenge that one can take. Then comes the next one, which is predictable. The performance of the flow is being predicted for taking preventive measures so that you can act in advance. And when do you automate it? Again, very interesting thing. Do you automate when you're in the verifiable level? Absolutely not. You should come to the capable level, only then the automation can be done. Therefore, many a times there are a lot of talks going on IoT and automation and Industry 4.0, a lot of buzzwords. I feel that can be done only when we have achieved the level of capability. Only then it makes sense in automating it. To some extent, reporting can be automated because it is quite a mundane job. Or you can also automate something to be measured, online measurements you are doing, so it gets automated. But the real automation happens only when there is predictability, and that's where the artificial intelligence comes into picture. Machine learning comes into picture. That is what Industry 4.0 is all about. It's not just about automating, not just about creating some automatic flows, but then also to be able to take some intuitive, to be able to provide some intuitive ideas, intuitive suggestions to improve. These are the 7 levels of assessing a chakra, from being identifiable to becoming predictable. Now, good afternoon, Mr. Arildo Afonso tudo bem? He asked me, that is Arildo from Brazil, my earlier colleague in Brazil. So he asked me what means chakras. Arildo, eu tinha explicado sobre chakras. Esses são fluxos que existem nos negócios, nas companhias, que a gente pode ver, pode entender. Tem 7 tipos de fluxos. Se você quiser, por favor, escreva para mim. Meu e-mail é seguinte, Dinakar, aqui, pode ver? Não, mostrei errado. Aqui, ó. Pode ver, dinakar@samutana.com, escreve, e aí eu vou explicar chakras e também sobre esta evaluação numa outra sessão somente para os brasileiros na língua portuguesa. Esses são sobre chakras, e depois vem para falar sobre como avaliar esses chakras. Os dois vou explicar quando nós, se quiser, escreva para mim, aí vamos fazer em português, aí a gente pode entender melhor do que em inglês. Sorry for speaking in Portuguese. I just spoke to Afonso and told him to write to me, and then so that we can organize a session only in Portuguese. I can explain it in Portuguese. Of course, my Portuguese, I need about 2 hours to get back to the same fluency as English. That is the same thing in German too. Ich brauche etwa 2 Stunden wieder fließend zu sprechen. Ja, selbstverständlich bin ich kein Deutscher, deshalb kann ich nicht so fließend sprechen, aber trotzdem kann ich für einen Ausländer gut genug sprechen. Dafür brauche ich etwa 2 Stunden. So again, German or Portuguese, they both two foreign languages to speak. I need about 2 hours to speak fluently. So this is about chakras. Chakra is something which is extremely interesting for me, because the way what is the word for that? The flow is organized is extremely simple: identifiable, verifiable, measurable, reportable, governable, capable, and predictable. You can go to any organization, anywhere, wherever you are working. It is very simple. You just go to, let us say, now we talk about root chakra, for example. Root chakra is what? It's about robust basics, the flow of products from market to market. You just go and find out if the this flow is verifiable. Can you really find a flow there in the organization? Is there some kind of a standard available? You can use a spaghetti diagram if you want to just walk through. Many times it's difficult to walk through. I'm talking about market to market, which means you should start from getting the order to supply and getting the payment from the market. Payment comes later, sorry, supplying to the market to market. Is there a flow which can be identified? First of all, can people see what's the flow there? That is the first question. And after that, can it be verified? Do I have a standard? Standard could be a process flow diagram, could be a control plan, could be a business process description, could be a SOP for generating sales, for creating orders. Do you have all that available? That is the verifiability, means you need to have standards, mind you. So this assessment is far more intense than any other thing available in this world, and that's why I like about this. Verifiability means that you have to have a standard. Standard means even at level 2, I'm talking about having fantastic processes described. Then comes the next one, which is measurable. So when you have got all those things fantastically well, I remember a huge lot of discussions with assessors, and even when I go, people would ask me, what are efficiency and what are effectiveness indicators? Can you please explain? Fantastic. I talk about that. But all this is bunkum bullshit, because everything is only on paper. People don't practice it. Here I'm telling you, can come to level 3 only if whatever you have indicated in the process can be measured. Is it something which can be measured? Is it something which is, first of all, measured? Is it measurable? Is it easy to measure? When I say measure, it doesn't take that, say that you take on months together to find something. It has to be done just like that, So measurability. Then comes the next one. Is it being reported? Interesting. If you are measuring and not reporting, it doesn't make any sense. There are a lot of data which is available, but it's not reported. If it's not reported, then there is no action on that. You understand? So my assessment is extremely tough. It's not easy at all. So it needs to be reported. That means the results come in the 3rd, 4th level already. The results being reportable. Next is governable. I'm talking about governability at all levels of the organization. Starting from the daily rhythm. I spoke about the, what is it called as the learning to learn system with multiple rhythms. I think it was there in this or one of the earlier sessions I discussed that. And learning to learn system is about having daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly and yearly rhythms. Are you able to govern all these at the respective clock speed in each of these rhythms? So I was telling the other day that whenever I've gone to EFQM assessment, I sit through a review to find out what's happening there. It's phenomenal. Whether it's a small company, big company, a very big company, multinational company, wherever I've gone to, most of the cases, people start discussing without a scoreboard. There is no idea as to where do you stand today. That means there is no report at all for that meeting. In my understanding, any review, whichever happens, the input for the review has to be a report. If there is no report, there is nothing to review about. But unfortunately, that's what happens in life. That's what happens in businesses. And that's the reason why business meetings are really understood and felt that they're absolutely useless. Because I'm reviewing something without knowing where do I stand. So that's what I'm talking about here, governable. Then comes the capability. There is no point in talking about capability much ahead. It's like investing money without any idea at all as to what you need. And then comes the predictability. So my assessment, whatever I've done, though it looks very simple, is very tough to mature in the levels. It's not easy at all. So if you are interested, please write to me. I'm going to challenge you, because this is something which I'm very excited, and it is going to really open out a big what should I say, opportunity for every company to really get to that world-class level. It's easy. It's extremely easy. Any idiot can understand. Is it identifiable? Is it verifiable, measurable, reportable, governable, capable, and predictable? If you want to go to the next level, and what do you need to do? Very interesting. Success Chakra is all about three topics in the organization. One is intolerance for interruptions. Develop intolerance for interruptions, top down. This has to be done top down. Success Chakra is top down. How do you develop intolerance to interruptions? in in the Indian language, you have what is called a samadhana, veda, banda, and the final last one is bamboo. Bamboo is basically to give a stick, a carrot and a stick. So you need to have sticks possibly there. Carrots may not work. Intolerance to interruptions, awareness for authenticity. How do you do that? By having one-on-ones, by having discussion with people, getting to know people the way you know your palm, the way you know your five fingers. That's the clarity with which you need to know all your people. Then excitement for evolution. How excited are you in people developing something? These are the three things which can be driven by the top management. So thanks a lot. I think I've been very I'm very excited in presenting this. I feel it's quite interesting, quite easy, quite useful for companies, for everybody, even for us when we are going to a company to assess a company. So with that, I come to the end of today's discussion. Also, this series of topics which I've been presenting. So thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot very much for your comments, and also your thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot for your comments, and thanks a lot also for your hints and advice and feedback. Other than the live session, I've been getting feedback from you offline also. Thanks a lot for that. And Arildo, I think I don't think it makes anything differently than what it is for the human body. The basic idea, Arildo, I'm speaking in English only. Later I can talk in Portuguese. Chakras are basically an analogy of the human body. I don't know whether you remember when I was in Brazil, we had done what is called as a watermelon concept. So this is basically trying to compare the human body, human chakras to the business chakras. It's about the same. So we can talk about that when you write to me. We can do it in Portuguese, Arildo. Vamos fazer em português, melhor. Then thanks a lot again. For those of you in India, have a nice evening. For those of you outside India, have a great day ahead. And before I leave, let me talk about what am I going to do in the next series. That's again important. Next series, I'm not going to talk about so much concepts. Will always be there. And then I'll talk about the various tools that I know of, that I've understood. More than 150 odd tools which I know, which I've been practicing, which I've used. So I'll speak about these one tool a day, what way it can be used, with some experience, with some example, so that it can be useful to each one of you. And regarding the chakras, if you want to know more, regarding the assessment, you want to know more, please do write to me. My email is dinakar@samutana.com. And with that, thanks a lot and have a nice weekend. Have a nice evening. And for those of you outside India, have a great day ahead. See you again on Monday, more or less at the same time, with my talk about the tools, about various tools and methods which we have been using and will be interesting to you. Thanks so much, and goodbye.